Today I'm in Erith, East London. It's about as far east as you can get before you would leave Greater London. It's just south of the river near Dartford. And I'm here today because this test centre had the lowest pass rate in the whole of Great Britain between April 21 and March 22, just 28.4%. And to put that into context, the average throughout Great Britain during the same period was 48.9%. But not only that, just down the road, 10 minutes away, 2 miles, is another test centre, Belvedere. And that had, during the same period, the second lowest pass rate in the whole of the country at 31.1%. 28.4% comes from 4,797 tests done, but only 1,361 passes. The reason why it's April to March is because that's how the DVSA do their figures. Their year for figures is April to March, and the latest year we have is April 21 to March 22. If you're interested in the place with the third lowest pass rate in the country, well, you have to drive 4.5 hours northwest to Speak in Liverpool. The pass rate there is 33.1%, although that is still a lot better than the 28.4% of this place. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to drive a test route. I didn't get this test route direct from the DVSA. They don't hand those out anymore. But apparently, if you do a test in Erith, this may be one of the routes you would get. So here goes. I'm facing the wrong way. I've got it in the sat nav, the route. So I'm going to have to do a turn in the road, 3-point turn to get going the correct way. I'll tell you if I think I fail. I don't know this area. I haven't driven here before. I apologise for my voice because I have had a cold the last 5 days. I'm not making excuses, but yeah, if my voice sounds different to usual, sounds different in my head, that's because I did lose my voice yesterday. It is coming back though. So, turning the road, I'll tell you if I think I fail. I know many will be in the comments saying you fail because of this, you know, I have one hand on the wheel or I don't use the handbrake every time I stop, but that's not compulsory. Having both hands on the wheel, yes, preferable. Using the handbrake, you can if you like. But you don't have to. So let's turn this around and no one's coming. Make sure I look round. And roundabout. I've got to go right at this roundabout. Third exit. So mirror signal right. Doesn't look too difficult, just one lane. Bit closed. Have to get quite close to see if anyone's coming. That's why I went into first gear. So far, not too bad. Although that road I started on had quite a few parked cars, and I noticed quite a lot of lorries there when I was setting up, so that can make things harder. So next roundabout is right. Looks like the third exit. There are lines on the road and arrows, so that shouldn't be too difficult. Can't really change lane from here, so you want to get the correct lane early. Oh, 3 lanes here. Well, which one do I use? Well, I'm in the middle one, but I think I actually need the right one. But it's safe for me to move, so I will move to the right lane now. That's fine, you can change lane if it's safe. And then, yes, this exit here. Yeah, I should have used the right lane there. It caught me off guard because it was 2 lanes. And then my lane suddenly split to 3. I'm not used to seeing that. Usually my lane would split to 2, but it suddenly split to 3. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Next roundabout looks like it's right. So I'm gonna get to the right lane. Third exit, yeah, I think third exit. Street lamps here. So it's 30, haven't seen any signs. I may have missed them, so I'm going right lane to go right here. Third exit. Not sure about the Mercedes, so I'm going to wait. Here he's coming round, and I can go. So 1, 2, mirror signal left to leave, and leave. Looks like there's a car behind me. There's 2 lanes here, 3 lanes. Oh, here we go. Road markings here are very difficult to see. Had a car behind me, so I was a little bit dubious to how far left to go there. I can see now. It was a very wide road. I could see some sort of line, but it was not clear. And driving here, that's what I noticed. The road markings are terrible. It's 50 miles per hour here. Yeah, they're quite bad, so it's hard to know where you need to place yourself. There's been a couple of occasions on the way here where I just had this vast amount of tarmac, and I'm like, well, where do I put my car? Where's my lane? How many lanes are there? Is it 2? Is it 3? Like that section back there, I wasn't sure if it was 2 or 3 lanes. So 50 miles an hour. I haven't got the sound on the sat-nav because, well, that'll interrupt the video, but also I don't find the sound very helpful. 0.7 miles, and I've got a bare right. Let's try and get the most out of the speed limit. So I'm doing 48 at the moment. Let's use cruise control to help me out. There's 50. If there's any boring bits in the video where not a lot happens, I will speed them up. I'm not actually driving that fast. That's just me speeding up the footage. So catching the red van now. So 0.1 miles. Oh, so I've got to stay on the road. That's what that means. So I'm not actually bearing right. I'm just staying here. So I slow down a little bit as I was catching that van. Haven't seen any speed limit changes yet, so I will return to 50 miles per hour. 1 mile until the next roundabout. So 2 lanes are merging here. Just slowing down to help this black car pull in front of me without getting too close. 0.5 miles, I'm going right at the roundabout. So I'm going to stay in the right lane. There's no point going to the left lane now. Get back up to 50 miles per hour, 0.4 miles. So I think I probably will need the right lane to go right. Sometimes you can go right in both lanes, but I don't know this area. I don't know the roundabout, so I'm going to play it safe and start here. Traffic lights are green. Slowing down for the roundabout, ignoring the lights now. So even if they change, I'm going through because I'm not going to slam the brakes on. Looks like the 3rd exit, mirror signal right. Looks like there's 3 lanes here. Just about see some markings and some arrows, very faded. Got to wait for this white BMW, and then I think I can go. Exit number 3. So that's 1, 2, a mirror signal left to leave at 3, and I can see a 30 sign there, so I know it's a 30 limit until I see other signs. Bus lane, oh, that adds complication. Luckily in my town we don't really have many of these. Couldn't see any times on the bus lane, so that means it's a bus lane all the time. It's not like a part-time lane. I have to press the button on here just to continue to the next point, because to set this route out I had to have waypoints. I'm going ahead at the roundabout, 2nd exit. I believe I can go ahead in both lanes here, so I'm going to stay in this lane. Looks clear. Yeah, mirror signal left to leave, and just leave in the right lane as I started in the right lane, and the bus lane continues. Got some triangles on the road here warning about kids. Traffic lights, ignoring them now. Roundabout, I'm going ahead. Well, I think I probably would want the middle lane, so I'll get a bit closer and see, but there was a car next to me so I couldn't change. No one's coming, there's no one behind me, so it looks like I'm all right actually. There's 2 lanes on the exit, so I can use both lanes to go ahead, good. But it would have been safe for me to change lane if I couldn't, because no one was behind me at that point. And if there was, I could have just gone all the way around the roundabout again and then taken this exit. So bus lane continues, another roundabout ahead, 2nd exit. Try and get the most out of the 30 limit, going a little bit slow there, 25 on that bit. That might be a minor for going a bit slow. I'm going to stay in the right lane again, because I think I can see 2 lanes on the exit. Yep, ahead 2nd exit. Mirror signal left to leave, leave in the right lane as I started in the right lane. And let's get the most out of the 30 limit. I do find pupils get minors if they go much below the limit when it's safe to do the limit, particularly on easier clear roads like this. Ignoring the lights now, looks like I've got to go right at the roundabout. So mirror signal right, 3rd exit, 40 limit there. which means from here it's 40. The Audi was indicating to come, but they didn't come. That is annoying when that happens. So that's 1, 2, and mirror signal left to leave. Haven't seen any speed limit change here, so 40 was the last one, I think. Yeah, it was. So it is 40 here. Yeah, little reminder up there. Even though I read the 40 not many seconds ago, I was already starting to forget it. So let's get up to 40, and a roundabout coming up, going ahead, second exit. Oh, starting to brake now, checking my mirrors, just signal to go around them. There's no one behind me, but I thought I'd signal for them anyway. Didn't really need to signal. And then back to the left lane to go ahead of this roundabout, second exit. Not sure about this car. No, they're not coming round. They weren't indicating to come round, but I just, something about them, I thought they looked like they were going to come round even though they weren't indicating, so I waited just in case. Ignoring the lights now. Again, a mass of road, but very little road markings. I can see 3 lanes here, 40 limit. I'm going to go to the left lane because it looks like I'm going to need to go. No, I'm going ahead of this roundabout. This roundabout's odd. It looks like a diamond, not a roundabout. So I'm going to go with the middle lane. There's no one around, so I can change. I think I might be able to use the left lane, but going ahead, if there's 3 lanes, middle lane is the safest one. Can't quite, I can just about see, but I couldn't really see the give way line there. Look at this. Where's the road markings? How many lanes are here? I'm sort of playing it safe and staying in the middle. Looks like it's wide enough for 3 cars, but absolutely no road markings here at all. Mirror signal left, just moving to the left of this vast expanse of tarmac. 20 limit I can see there now, so I better get that down to 20. And looks like I've got to move to the right. Car behind's letting me go, they're staying behind. Bus lane and a 20. That feels very slow here. That car behind's not happy. Not happy at all. I know some of you might be upset that I moved in front of that car, but they were waiting behind me there. Having used the brake to stop it going over the speed limit. So obviously I signalled, I could see he's waiting, and I moved in front. It's better than just staying there. I think the car behind just flashed their lights at me. 20 is very hard to maintain here. I'm using the cruise control. Well, now they're bibbing their horn. Oh yeah, 20 mile an hour limits. Now is that still a bus lane? That is, so I can't go to the left lane. I've got to stay here. Going ahead, second exit. And going to continue to annoy this motorist. I'm going to move, or he's moving first, so I'll let him go first. I'll stay in this lane. Hopefully there's 2 lanes on exit. Yep, I can go here. If not, I'll just go all the way around the roundabout again. Mirror signal left. Yep, 2 lanes on exit there. Haven't seen a speed limit change. I'm already at 20. Oh, I feel so wrong not being able to go faster than this. And I'll engage that cruise control to try and keep me at 20 miles an hour. I think that is a bus lane again. Yeah, it is. I need to continue to the next waypoint. It's dual carriageway, so you should really use the left lane unless you're overtaking. But as there's bus lanes here, I've got to stay in the right lane. Going ahead of the roundabout, I'm going to move to the left lane. This time there's no car behind me doing it before I had a chance, so it's okay for me to do that. Not sure about this white car. You can't see it on camera, but they've gone the other way now. And signal left to leave. Still A20. Is there a bus lane? Can't see any signs or road markings. Looks like it's just 1 lane. So it's a good job I moved to the left lane before that roundabout there. And red light, so I'm stopping here. And 30. There we go. Don't have to go so slowly. That was, in my opinion, a ridiculous speed limit. Don't appreciate getting the abuse from the car behind just for following the law and doing what I have to do to protect my license. But that's just how things are. So 30 now. Got a white line on the left. That's a solid line for the cycle lane. Ignoring the lights. Let's get it up to 30 miles an hour. Looks like there's 2 lanes here, so I'll position myself to the left. Let's get in the left lane. And is that a roundabout? Yep, down there. And I'm going ahead. I think it's the first exit. Looks like I can go. Yep, so first exit, keeping it left in my lane. Just checking for cyclists there because there was a cycle lane. And it doesn't look like there's a cycle lane here, so I want to make sure there was no cyclist next to me or coming up from behind. Especially down that hill, they could speed up. It's uphill now, the sun's making it a bit more difficult to see. It's quite cold today, 1 degree at the moment. It was -4 when I set off this morning. What's this? Zone ends, no waiting zone ends. I think that said no waiting zone end, but the sign was a bit faded, so it's hard to make out. Still a 30 limit. Looks a bit less urban here. Some trees, that's nice. And let's try and get the most out of the 30 limit, although I'm going a similar speed to the cars in front. Let's engage the cruise control, and I've got to take a left soon. I think it's Hurst Lane. So it's 120 yards. Slowing down. Oh, there it is. Mirror signal left. Don't recommend signalling until you can actually see the road. I mean, it's mirror signal manoeuvre, but slow down if you need to slow down. You don't have to mirror signal to slow down. Generally, you would mirror signal first. But if you're not sure where it is, just reduce your speed. Try and find it. So, sat-nav is saying it was 60. I don't recall seeing a national speed limit sign on that road, but I was going the same speed as the cars in front anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And at the end of the road, I'm going left. So mirror signal left. Continue to the next waypoint down this route. Nice view here, nice easy junction, although cars could be coming towards me, so I'm bearing that in mind. I think there'll be room for both of us anyway, so it's not a big deal. But I might not want to do 30 straight away here. I can't see around this bend, and there could be a car using quite a lot of my lane. I believe the speed limit is 30 here. Street lamps, can't see any signs. Try and keep it within 30 down this hill. The car is wanting to speed up. Cruise control can't help me here because it will just go over 30. This cruise control system doesn't do the brake as well. I do find using cruise control helps me stay within the speed limits without having to look at the speedo so much. I like to look at the road. Don't like to keep looking down at a number. What's that in the road? It's a pigeon. I'll slow down a little bit for them, let them get out of the way. That's another myth. Can't slow down for animals. You can if it's safe. You can't slam on the brake and cause a collision, but you don't have to run animals over. Generally speaking, pigeons, they tend not to get out of the way unless you're below 20. But other animals, like other birds like crows, they don't really care. You say they don't really care. You can go 60 and they'll get out of the way. They're smart, but pigeons aren't so good at avoiding cars. Bit more residential here. This looks like the sort of place they might get you to pull over on the right and reverse. I've arrived at my next waypoint, so I just continue to the next one, or maybe pull up before a car and do the angle start. Got to go left at the end of this road, so mirror signal left. Looks clear. No right turn, it says there. Oh, I think my right's a bit later. And I've got to go right soon, 130 yards. No entry sign on the right. And it says 20 up there, but I've got to go right, I think, before it, just after the zebra crossing. Oh, that looks awkward. So I've got to turn right here. Yeah, where that bus went. Oh, yeah, it's quite awkward. Just after the zebra crossing, you've got this little space in the middle where you can wait, but the space is after your turn, so you can't really wait in it. I've got to wait here before the space and block the cars behind. And my exit is blocked, so I'm stuck here. Cars behind have room to get past me. I got myself off of the zebra crossing. I might just go neutral and relax. I think I might be here for a little bit of time. Right, starting to move again. So doesn't look like anyone's coming. I can cross the path of oncoming cars, which is actually from the left as it's on a bend. There's oncoming cars from the junction as well. But don't forget to check what could be coming from round the bend. Looks like a little town. Nice little town. And I think we're waiting here because cars are trying to park, I guess. That van was parking. I think that's the reason why it was a bit busy. And 160 yards, I've got to go right, which I think just means follow this road round. No, that's after the bend, okay. So this wasn't 160 yards away. I mean, I play golf occasionally, but I still don't know yardage. Looks like I can go past the buses, there's space. And this is the right turn here. So mirror signal right. Let's try and regain my, no, this is a one-way, doesn't matter. I don't need to regain my side of the road. This is one-way road. Road on the left wasn't very long, and then I've got to go left. Yeah, so signal left into this road. This is two-way. Yep, it is. See by the sign. Get past these cars before the oncoming car gets to me. Mirrors to come back to my half of the road. And next road right, 80 yards. Mirrors signal. Fairly basic junction, not too narrow, nice and easy. Turning into my half of the road, not driving over the wrong side of the road and cutting the corner. It's quite a common cause of failure. And I'm just going to pull over on the left here before this Mercedes. This might be where they get you to pull over on the test. Places like this, they get you to stop like this and then move away from the car behind, or even parallel park. But the reason why I'm doing it is because I want to turn the cameras off and turn them back on again, because they don't record very well if I leave them too long. When it gets about 20 minutes, the camera I'm looking at right now tends to switch off, and I don't want to lose any footage. So I'll be back with you in, well, for you it'll be like a second. So camera's rolling again. Now I've got to do the angle start. The angle start is when you stop about a car length behind the car in front, and you've got to move away with good control without rushing your steering or nearly hitting the car or nearly hitting the curb or actually hitting them. A little bit of a hill start here as well. So a bit of gas and bite point, no one coming, and use clutch control to go around this car. I didn't check my left blind spot before I moved away, but you don't have to. Although a lot of people teach you to do that, that's fine, you can do it, but I'm not going to fail my test for not doing that. So I can't see here, I'm slowly moving out. There we go, and now I can see I can go. You need to check the blind spot that's relevant for the situation you're doing. If I was moving away from the right side, then I would check my left blind spot, because I'm moving towards the, actually left blind spot. I said right blind spot, but if I'm moving away from the right, I would check my left blind spot because I'm moving towards the left. So 0.2 miles. But if you want to check all of them, both of them, you can, no problem, but it can be a problem. I've had people marked down for it. One girl I remember in particular, because she was just moving ahead too much and it was making her observations old. It was making it awkward. It was a hard way to move away. 0.1 miles. Where is this? I can't see it. Got to do a right turn. Let's try and get it nearer 30. There we go. So here we go. There it is. I see it now. So mirror signal right. This one here. Into the waiting area in the middle. No one coming. So I can turn into my side of the road. Parked cars round here. Two-way, so I'm just going to slow down here and pause, make sure no one's coming, let them go if they were coming. Again, this looks like the sort of area where you may be asked to do a manoeuvre. Parallel park, pull over on the right, reverse. I doubt they'll get you to do the emergency stop here, there's too many cars. Haven't seen a very good place yet for that on this route. Or the angle start, and the hill start, there's a hill there, so they probably get you to do your hill start there. You have to do the angle start and the hill start during the test. Okay, that's the next waypoint. Continue to the next one. I'm not doing 30 here, it's a 30 limit, but it's just how wide it is, how close I am to the cars. I don't feel comfortable going much faster than this. I'm aware doors could open and people could walk from the sides in front of me. So for me, this feels like a comfortable speed in this situation. End of the road, I've got to go right. So mirrors, signal right now, I can see the road. I only really signal if I can see the junction. I wait till I can see it before I signal. Returning to my side of the road. First gear because I'm slow, looks clear. Parked cars on the other side of the road here, so I'm ready to wait if anyone comes around that bend. I don't think I can fit with them, so I might have to reverse at this stage, but they hopefully wait now at the next gap here between this VW and the Fiesta. Slow here because I can't see. You can see now, going slow because I'm quite close to these cars. Just checking my mirrors when I'm moving to the right and to the left, centre left mirror for left, centre right mirror for right. A little bit of a slalom there. Going a bit faster now because I feel like I've got a bit more space. I can't see around this bend, so very slow. Now I'm staying left, so I'm leaving space on my right for the car to come through. And there is a car. Don't know if that was on camera, Hopefully it's on this one. But yeah, I stayed left, I couldn't see round the bend, so if a car was coming, there was room for them to get through without me going head on with them and having to reverse. That's something a lot of new drivers don't tend to do. I have to teach them that. So going left here at the end of this road. There's a van coming, but they're going the other way. So that's fine, and it looks clear. I'm going to continue. Oh, lovely, my favourite, speed bumps. How bad are they? Oh, not too bad. 10. I always start at 10. 10 miles an hour when I see a speed bump. I'll go with that first, and if it's harsh, I'll do the next one a bit slower. If it's really gentle, I might try the next one a bit faster. But 10 feels about right on these. And speeding up and slowing down between the bumps. Some people ask me, should you do that? Yes, you should. You shouldn't stay at 10 all the way along here. If you did that, you probably would get a serious for appropriate speed. So going right here. A bus coming from the right, but I have time, so I'm going to get going. And now I've got a roundabout in 0.5 miles. Waiting here because I can see the oncoming car and the white car is parking, so the oncoming van is going to have to move out a bit. Now there's room for me to go. I'm going to go slow so this burgundy Toyota has time to get out the way. I hope I'm coming across loud enough for you. I am struggling today with my voice. It might be a bit quiet. I'll try and make it louder in the edit if I need to. Zebra crossing is clear as an island with the zebra crossing, so I can treat it as two separate crossings. I don't have to wait if someone's all the way over the other side of the road. And cycle lane with a broken line, so I can enter that if I need to, if I check my mirrors first, but if I don't need to, I'll stay out of it. That zebra was clear. Another zebra, quite a lot of zebras around here, and a left turn soon. 0.2 miles, so not here, no, I'm not going to B&Q. It says no U-turn, that's okay, I'm not intending to do a U-turn. There's the roundabout sign. Doing the same speed as the car in front at the moment. Keeping my quite a big distance, don't need that much distance. Centre left mirror, left signal, but it doesn't hurt to have a bit too much distance. Looks clear. First exit up this hill. This looks like 2 lanes, but I think it's becoming 1. Yeah, it must be. The size of it tells me it's becoming 1, even though the lines, there's no sort of arrows or anything on the road to tell you that. That is something I'm struggling with this area. It's just road signs, road markings mostly, to be fair. But I do find it is a bit tricky to know, if you don't know the area, where to go. Generally speaking, I find examiners do help in those situations. So if you usually use the left lane to go, left or straight, but you need the left lane to go right at a roundabout, which is sometimes the case, examiners will usually go, oh, you're going right at this roundabout, you may find it easier to use the left lane on this occasion. They're trying to help you with the local knowledge. Or if the road markings are very poor, they might say there's 2 lanes here if there's no lines. They should do, in my opinion. I do find that is the case when I've sat in on tests. They are generally quite helpful. So that was 30 limit there. I've got a 50 sign now. Middle lane going ahead at this roundabout. If I wasn't talking, I'll be able to concentrate a bit more. He's going there, so I can go. Left lane leaves, my middle becomes the left. Checking my mirror to make sure that's the case. And no, it's not 50 for me, it's a 30 sign here now. Oh, looks like I'm already back. That wasn't too painful, wasn't too long. So 30 limit, and this is the roundabout I think I was on earlier, and that one as well. Yeah, so left at this roundabout, first exit. And we're back on the test centre road. Looks clear. A bit slower here in case someone's coming, and they are coming. That's what we've got to be ready for. You see a car on the other side stopped, expect the car to be coming towards you on your side of the road. Slow down until you're sure it's clear. And I'm just going to parallel park now behind this silver BMW. I'm right next to the test centre. I'm not actually going to go in there. Didn't need to signal or anything. No one behind me. Pop it in reverse. Looks clear. And I regularly look round. So BMW coming from behind, but I'm getting out of their way, not in their way, so I can continue. Still looks good. I think I'm close enough to the curb now, so I'll just take the angle off. Mostly sort of focusing on the mirror for position, but regularly checking around for hazards and danger. The mirror tells me where I am. I can see the curb, I can see the side of my car, although you can't at the moment. But I have a video about that. I'll leave a link to it in the top right hand corner of the screen if you're interested. But it's important not to get completely focused on that. You do need to check around and see what's going on, who's coming, cars, pedestrians, cyclists, motorbikes, or any kind of vehicle. If you're getting out of their way, it's okay to continue. If you're getting in their way, you should give way. I've just had some lunch and I spent the time eating, mulling over how challenging the test route was. I would say I passed if I was doing the test. I did have a bad position on a few occasions, but there was no road markings and the width of the road could have been 2 lanes or 3 lanes. And without the road markings and without knowing the area, I'm not going to know. If it's 2 lanes, I will position myself left or right. If it's 3 lanes, well, I might position myself in the middle, but I won't do that if it's 2 lanes. Overall though, I would say it's more challenging learning here than it is in Colchester anyway, where I teach. In Colchester, the pass rate during the same period, April 21 to March 22, was 46.2%. I've got some figures here actually. So during that period, there was 8,634 tests and 3,993 passes, a bit below the national average. But it is harder here than it is in Colchester. Not least because there are more lanes more often, more junctions that are more complicated, and a lack of road markings to help you do those junctions. But also there's a lot more bus lanes, and the bus lanes here are parallel to the road you're driving on. In Colchester, most of the bus lanes are their own road that go somewhere, and drivers in cars have to go a different way entirely. But when the bus lane is next to the driving lane for cars, well, it's much harder because every time you get to a junction, you're going to have to change your lane if you want to go left or ahead at the roundabout, and then go back to the right lane again to avoid the next bus lane. So it makes things more complicated. I was lucky because there was 2 lanes before the roundabout and 2 lanes after the roundabout, so I didn't have to keep changing lane for the bus lane. But also bus lanes can be challenging if they have time restrictions on them, or times of operation I should say. Because you got to think, oh, what's the time? What's the time on the sign as well? And it's just an extra thought process. Also, it could lead you to making a mistake. If you're used to driving somewhere at a certain time and being able to use a bus lane, and then you drive there at a different time and then you're not able to use the bus lane. I think making driving more complicated than it needs to be isn't a good idea. There's 20 mph speed limits here as well. Now there are some in Colchester, but generally they're on residential roads. Here they're on main roads, and the fact is, not many people stick to 20 mph limits. Just look at the road, do 20 yourself and see the cars behind you. I have to stick to the speed limit, my pupils have to. So therefore, we have loads of cars behind and people wanting to get past. That makes driving more difficult, especially when we need to change lane because there's a bus lane coming and everyone wants to get past us and they're not allowing us to change because we're doing the speed limit. There is something here though that is missing. Where are the country roads? The driving test is usually between 38 to 40 minutes. And an experienced driver can actually do the whole test route usually in about 25 minutes. And that's because during the test you have more things to do, like your manoeuvre, emergency stop possibly, stopping and starting at the side of the road loads of times, angle start, hill start. So yeah, tests take longer than it would if you were an experienced driver doing the route and not having the faff of all the test stuff. So it's only actually realistically 25 minutes of driving. So if there's not a country road within about 10 minutes away from the test centre, you're not going to use country roads because say 10 minutes to get to the country road, sometime on that country road, and then 10 minutes to get back. So I worry that people learning here aren't learning how to use these roads, and they do require their own skills. They have a high speed limit. They're windy. Quite often you need to be using more than half the road when it's safe to do so, so that you're not in the gutter and that you are driving on good solid road where you've got good traction. I spend quite a bit of time on country roads with my pupils to make sure they have good skills on them. Also, in town, on urban roads and on dual carriageways. But here, I think you can get away with doing mostly urban roads and some dual carriageways, and they're 50-mile-per-hour dual carriageways, and do all you need to do, road-wise anyway, to pass your test. So there's actually less to do here. I don't recommend that. You should be learning country roads before you do your test, even if your test centre doesn't include them. But that does make that easier here, because you don't have to learn that as well, although you should. I'm guessing a lot of people don't, basically. Overall though, I would say it's harder driving here, but I'm not sure if it's hard enough to justify such a big difference between the pass rate and the national average pass rate. But where you learn to drive does determine what roads you get to practice. If you're learning in Greater London, you're not going to spend much time on rural country roads. And if you're learning out in the sticks in a rural area, you're not going to be practicing many big, complicated, multi-lane roundabouts, as there's not many around. If you found the video helpful or interesting, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're looking for car insurance, check out the links to Collingwood and Confused in the description. If you're learning to drive and want to insure yourself on somebody else's car, then Collingwood are there for you, because you can do so without affecting the owner's policy, which takes away a big stress from the owner of the car that you're using for your driving practice. Via the link, there's up to 35% off and a £20 Amazon gift card at the moment. If you want to insure your own car, I recommend checking out the link to confused.com. You fill out one quote form and get loads of quotes back from many insurers to compare who's cheapest. And you can change your car on that quote as many times as you like to compare how much it costs to insure different cars without having to refill out the whole quote form. So that's quite an easy way to see how much it costs to insure different cars if you're shopping around. Using the links doesn't cost you anything, but it does support the channel, so thank you very much. Subscribe to get my future videos, and until the next one, cheerio.